Thank you, Dalipa. Thanks for that beautiful introduction. Firstly, I just want to say thank you to everybody. I feel like I'm going to be learning so much just in speaking myself. And if I'm to be really, really honest, my biggest fear is actually public speaking. So you're actually all helping me without you even realizing with me just speaking to you now. So I just want to thank you all. So my name is Alicia and I live in Australia, in Melbourne. I am originally from Perth. Both of my parents are from Bangladesh. Unfortunately, I don't know much about my culture, which I'm trying to change. I wish I knew a bit more about it, but I've never been there. So that's where my background comes from. And I guess I decided to be a life coach because my life wasn't always the best. I struggled a lot my whole life growing up. I felt very lost. I felt alone. I was very depressed. Didn't know how to talk about my feelings. I feel like I didn't really have anyone to talk to. I just wanted to be liked by everybody. So with all of my friends that I had, I didn't necessarily have the best sort of friends, friends that were going to influence me in a positive way. And because I just wanted to be liked so much, I just craved this connection. I craved this love that I wasn't getting. I felt from my father that I seeked it out in friends. I seeked it out in other people. So I got into a lot of trouble. I'll be very honest. I was a pretty bad kid. I rebelled a lot. I did a lot of bad things because I wanted that attention from my father that I didn't get. So I'll start off with a story. So about 20 years ago, because I felt so lost and alone, I felt really, really hopeless and I didn't know what to do. I felt really unloved by everyone except for my mum. I know that my mum loved me, but I didn't feel like I had that love from my father because he was always working 12-hour shifts, so never saw him. And when he was home, I never got that attention. So yes, I felt really lost, and it was about 25 years ago. I'm 41 years old now. I was home alone, just feeling really, really hopeless, really, really depressed. Didn't want to be in this world anymore because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the next step was for me. I didn't have any positive role models. So I remember that day really clearly. I went into the kitchen and I got a knife. I didn't know what I was going to do with that knife. I just knew that I was in so much pain and I didn't want to be here anymore. I knew that I didn't like physical pain. I knew that I couldn't do anything with the knife to me, but I just had it there, right? And I had remembered watching some movies where I had seen some images of them doing things. So I was like, oh, maybe if I try that, it'll take away the pain. So I got the knife and I rolled up my sleeve on this arm and I made a tiny, tiny little cut. And it started to bleed. And then I just got overwhelmed and I'm like, oh my God, this actually hurts. And I remember actually laughing at the time because I'm like, oh my God, I can't actually do this. It actually really, really hurts. So I don't know if anyone's experienced a paper cut before, but it's that sort of pain where it's so little, but it really, really hurts. And that's when I realized, what am I doing? What was I about to do? And I called a friend at the time and I told her what I was about to do and how stupid I was for even thinking that. And she planted this seed in my brain. And she asked me a really important question. And it was a question that nobody had ever asked me before. And the question was, Alicia, I want you to complete this sentence for me. I love myself because. I couldn't answer. I sat there for what felt like half an hour, and I couldn't think of one thing of why I loved myself. And having that awareness at the time that, wow, this is how I feel about myself, I couldn't even think of one thing. She rattled off like a whole heap of things, but it just went in one ear and out the other because I didn't believe it myself. And that was when I realized that, wow, I really don't love myself. So from that day, 25 years ago, I decided to change my life, and I went on a journey to discover myself and find what it is that I'm really passionate about. And I still sort of try to search for love outside of myself because that's what I was really seeking, until one day I realized that that love was inside me all along, and I just needed to love me. So yeah, I just thought I'll give you a bit of background information of why I decided to be a coach and why I want to dedicate my life to helping other people, because I've been there. There's a lot of other things that I've experienced that I won't go into, but I've been through some of the worst experiences that I would never wish on anybody else. And I wished that I knew what I knew now back then. I wish that I had somebody I could look up to that could help me, that could just steer me in the right direction, that could just give me these words of wisdom that would help me. And I didn't have that. Yes, I had my mom and my family who loved me very much, but they only knew what they knew. They didn't know personal development. They didn't know how to love yourself. So they couldn't teach me that. And it wasn't their fault. Their parents didn't teach them that either. So I then had to go on the journey myself to find that for myself. So that's, I guess, where the story began. And that's why I'm doing. I never want anybody else to feel alone and to feel desperate and not knowing what to do. So yes, so that's my story, and I'm so grateful that I'm here today to be able to tell the story. And if I didn't go through some experiences that I went through in my past, so also a bit about me, I have alopecia, that's why I don't have any hair. But if that event had happened to me 5 years earlier, I wouldn't have known how to deal with it. But it was like all these chains of events that added up. It was like it was divine timing that happened at the perfect time for me to now accept myself how I am with no hair. But like I said, if it had happened just 5 years earlier, I wouldn't have known how to deal with it. And I may not have been here to tell the story. So yes, I just want to give you some wisdom, hopefully some things that may be able to help you. Because to be honest, we all struggle with something. A lot of us may be scared to verbalize it. A lot of us may not know who to speak to about it. We may be scared. We may not know what to do with these feelings. So I'm just here to tell you that, anything that you're feeling, whether it be good or bad, it's all valid. It's all valid, and your voice really matters. And I say that because growing up, I never had a voice. I was so shy. I was so quiet. I never spoke. I never said a word. So this is me now as an adult, utilizing my voice and expressing myself in the way that I know how. So in regards to, I know Dalipa wanted me to talk about study and life balance. So I guess a few things in regards to that is, looking at the bigger picture. So what you're studying, just always remembering why you're studying that. There's always a bigger picture, and every single one of you has a different picture. Every single one of you has a vision, and it's all different. So it's about remembering, okay, I'm studying. Why am I doing this? What is it going to bring me in the long term? So it's just remembering your why and why you're doing that. And that not only helps you stay on track, but it also helps you motivate yourself when you have that deep knowing of, this is why I'm doing this, because this is the outcome that I want in the end. This is what I want to feel at the end of it. And I think another thing to remember is, you know, what you're focusing on. Like if you choose to focus on, oh, this is hard, I can't do this, this is long hours, this is overwhelming, they're all negative words. And if you focus on that, that's exactly what you'll attract. But if you focus on everything you're learning in the process and who you're actually becoming as a person by doing this. And I feel like a lot of us don't focus on the positive. We focus on the mistakes that we're making. We're focusing on, you know, a test that we got wrong and we maybe didn't get an A. Like we focus on all those things and we put so much attention into that, but we forget to focus on everything that we've achieved along the way and all of the progress that we've made to get here. And I have to say, first of all, there's 50 people on here. So like, not including myself and Dalipa, that's 48 of you who all turned up here. So I just want you to congratulate yourself that you all turned up to this call. You didn't have to, but you did. So I just want you to honor yourself for that. That's a huge thing. And I think that it can be such a little thing that we take for granted, but it's so important. It's so important to honor yourself and to congratulate yourself, and knowing that you have chosen to show up every day to class. You've chosen to do the work. You keep choosing to do that. There's so many people out there that I see in Australia that are choosing something different. They're choosing to sit at home and watch Netflix all day. They're choosing to play video games. They're choosing to maybe even be homeless on the street. They're choosing to have another life, but you are choosing to be here. So I get emotional when I talk about it. I'm so sorry. I get emotional because so many people could make another choice. And sometimes it feels that that's an easier option to make that choice. The harder choice is actually to be here. So I just really want to congratulate you all, and I honor you all for being here. And it just, yeah. I'm sorry. I look at you all, and I guess I'm comparing myself when I was your age. I wasn't interested in school. I wasn't interested in learning. So I look at you, and you are all such an inspiration to me. Like it's funny, like you think that I've come here to be motivation to you, but you are actually all motivation to me. So I just want to honor you all. I really do. I'm just going to take a sip of water.
Alicia, let me interrupt you. So you inspired me. You inspired me, Alicia. So with your super words, every word you spoke was with a feeling. It was so emotional, and tears came to my eyes too. Not thinking about you, Alicia. So I went back to my history, my past. Okay, Mumi. So Alicia, Mumi wants to raise her voice. She wants to say something. Shall we?
Yes, please.
Okay, Mumi. Mumi, go ahead. Yes, Mumi.
Hello, Alicia. Nice to meet you.
You too.
So you were so inspirational. It's like 7:30 or something in the morning right now for me. In the morning, I got so inspirational, and I might go with the day. So thank you very much for that. And I want to tell you something. When I was just 4 years old, I lost my dad, and sometimes I feel a bit uncomfortable to say that, and when that topic comes, but listening to your speech, it was really helpful. So thank you so much for that.
You're very welcome. And I just want to say again to you, thank you for showing up. And you are so strong. The fact that you just verbalized that and said that in front of so many people and in front of me, you know, that's, again, you need to give yourself a pat on the back to just even be able to express that. So I just want to thank you, because a lot of people would just keep that inside. So thank you.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Alicia, how many number of people you have spoken to up to this level so far? Because you're becoming emotional right in front of my students is a big thing to me, because you spoke not from your mouth but from your heart, Alicia. Thank you very much. And anybody else who wants to ask a question? Hirusha has already asked a question. She had a question and I forwarded that question to Alicia. Anybody else, raise your hands. I can give few chances because Alicia is also running with a tough schedule. Yeah, she's running a different business, a big service. Yeah, anybody else wants to ask a question? Please raise your hand.
I think I can see somebody's hand raised.
Yeah, what's his name? Yeah, Manudini. Let me introduce Manudini, and she's studying in Sri Lanka, the central part of Sri Lanka, Kandy. You can Google it and find. It's a beautiful environment, and Manudini is also one of the studious students in this workshop. She did her ordinary level examination last March, and she has something to say. Yes, Manudini, go ahead.
Uh, yes, Alicia, your speech was really inspirational. I learned much from that. Actually, I'm having a small question from you. Like, do you think that small things in our life make us happier? Like the things that we do, if though that thing is small, it makes something big in our life. It affects more in our life.
Yes. So if I've understood the question right, it's so if the small things matter, and I would have to say yes, they definitely do, because it's often the small things that we take for granted. So, for example, I have a gratitude diary, and every day I write in that gratitude diary 5 things that I'm grateful for. Okay. And I always try to make sure that I write something different, but it's always the little things. So, yes, I might have achieved something big that day. So, yes, I want to celebrate that, but I also celebrate the little things. And that could be that the sun was out. Like today, it's winter in Melbourne, so it's really cold, but I've already written in my gratitude diary that the sun is out. So to some people that may be so little, but to me it's like, oh, I get to go outside and get rejuvenated by the sun. It could be something little that you got to have your favorite meal that day. It could be that you read a book, you got to read one of your favorite books, even if it was just one page. A lot of people beat themselves up that, oh, well, I only did this and I only got through one page and I didn't get to do the whole thing. But like I was saying before, it's about recognizing yourself and celebrating those little things, because progress, and this is what I've learned, progress is better than perfection. And if I was still in that mindset of, because I used to be such a perfectionist, everything had to be perfect. And if I was still in that place, I would have made sure that I looked perfect. I would have made sure I was prepared for this talk. To be honest, I wasn't really prepared. I just said to myself, I'm just going to speak from my heart. But sometimes when you're a perfectionist and you want everything to be perfect, that stops you in its tracks. And you can't actually take action, and it stops you from moving forward because you want everything to be perfect. But you then realize that nothing is ever going to be perfect. So yes, celebrate the small things, because all those small things add up to something big. Because when you take a step forward, right? Like when a baby is learning to walk, they don't just walk straight away. They start to crawl and they take a few steps. So it's just in life, like we can't just go to the big thing straight away, whatever that may be. We have to learn to crawl first and take one little baby step at a time. And that's how you climb up the steps, and then you get to the very top, and all those little things add up to that big thing. So I hope I understood your question correctly, and I hope I answered it.
Thank you very much. And Sasandi, she has a question. Sasandi? Yes, Sasandi. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. This is not a question,
Okay.
but hi, Alicia. It's very nice to meet you.
too.
Your speech really inspired me because I also love, like, I don't have my father, and my mother works like at home. She has online classes whole day, and I don't get much attention to. But now I understand, and I got to the path, and I just want to thank you so much for inspiring me today, and I really got inspired to start my day. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Okay. And a very kind request coming from a boy, Alicia.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to see your hair ahead.
Oh yes, of course.
Isn't she beautiful? She's beautiful.
I just had it on because it's cold. There's some of the questions that you already sent me that I can quickly go through if you like.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So one was, we always try to be the best, but best doesn't come easily. How do you develop persistence? It's very hard. So that's a really good question. And the first thing that I just want to bring to your attention is your language, because language is really, really important. Everything that we say, we don't realize that we're actually creating that in our lives. So there is a saying, if you can or you can't, you're correct. So that means that if you say that you can, you'll find a way, and you will be able to do the thing. But if you say you can't, then you can't. You're not allowing like your brain to find ways to find a solution, because you've already told your brain you can't do it. So it says here it's very hard and it doesn't come easily. I would invite you to try to just be aware of the words that you say to yourself, and the words that you're saying, and even the thoughts that you're thinking, and try to change it and see if you could view it in a different way with a different language. So we always try to be the best, but best doesn't come easily. So if you even just take that out and just say, it is easy to be the best. It is easy to be the best. And it's like it becomes an affirmation, something that you can say to yourself every morning to inspire you, to motivate you. And then you'll start to believe that, and then your brain will do the rest. It'll start to go to work to create that for you. And with persistence, it was like I was talking about before, that having a vision, if you know what your vision is and you know what your why is, that will automatically help with like motivation and persistence. It'll help you want to do it because you know what the outcome is. So a question that I even ask myself is, what is this allowing me to do? Because I'm also studying at the moment a lot of different things, and I also get overwhelmed. So I get what you mean, and I have to constantly ask myself, by doing this, what is it giving me? What is it allowing me to do in the end? And that's what helps me get back on track. And again, it's like, what are you focusing on? So instead of focusing on this is so hard, if you focus on everything that you have done so far and all the progress you've made and the person that you're actually becoming in the meantime. So for someone who's persistent, you need to be dedicated. You need to have commitment. You need to be disciplined. All these things that could be considered small are huge things, because you're becoming a person that has commitment, that has dedication, that when they say they're going to do something, they do it. All of these are amazing things. So yeah, it's where you focus your attention on. So if you try to focus your attention on all the progress and who you're becoming, that sort of makes it easier as well. And then there was another question. I believe in myself, but others don't. So as in parents or teachers. So first of all, I just want to honor whoever wrote that question and congratulate you, because you've already done it. You've actually already answered your question, and you may not realize, but that there's so many people, like even myself and so many adults that I see around me, who we are still struggling to believe in ourselves, because when we were little, our parents maybe didn't believe in us. Our friends maybe didn't believe in us. People who had authority maybe didn't believe in us, and we take that on as adults, and that sticks with us, and we still don't know how to believe in ourselves. So the fact that you're such a young age and you already believe in yourself despite having other people not believe in you, that is amazing, and you've already done the work. So you've already answered your question. You already believe in yourself, and that's all that matters. So that is just beautiful. And I think that so many people can look up to you, and you could share your wisdom with others of how you did it, how you are still able to believe in yourself when others don't. It's an amazing gift. It's a beautiful question. When I suggest something to do when I'm with my friends, they first bully and laugh at me, and I'm embarrassed. Shall I leave my friends, and how do I find good friends? So firstly, because I'm not really sure of the context of it, like I'm not sure what you're suggesting, but what I would say is that you teach people how to treat you. So the fact that you're already asking that question, it already shows me that you're already being assertive and taking charge, and you don't want that to happen to you. So you're teaching them, you know what, it's not okay to bully me, and I'm okay to be able to choose new friends, and you're allowed to do that. We have a choice. We may not get to choose our family, but we do get to choose our friends. So what I would suggest on finding good friends is that just remember that your friends can very easily influence your life, like they did with me, if you don't have a strong sense of self. So it sounds like you do have a strong sense of self, so that's amazing. And just remember that, you could have 9 negative friends, and you will become the 10th. That's just how life works. It's who you surround yourself with, and the environment you're around is really important. So I would suggest, if you want to change your circle, what are your interests? What do you love to do? And look for other people who have this similar interests. But yeah, I'm not necessarily saying change the group. I mean, you could be the person that inspires people to stand up for themselves. And remember that when people bully us, a lot of the times we take it on board and we think that there must be something bad about me because they're bullying me. There has to be something wrong with me. But that's actually never the case. It's always about the other person. When they're bullying somebody else, it's a reflection on them and they're actually hurting inside. So if you look at it like that, you can actually start to have compassion for the other person, knowing that they are in their own pain and they don't know how to release it. So they're doing it by bullying somebody else. So yes, you could be the person that changes all of that. But just listen to your truth, listen to your gut, and you'll know the answer. And I think that was all the question. Oh, there was one about how to, I didn't write that question down because it was the video that you had sent, about how to get through, like how to motivate yourself, I think, when you're just constantly online on Zoom. And I would say, you know, try to have fun, try to make it fun. And self-care is a really important thing. So, you know, have breaks. Like say to yourself, okay, for the next hour, I'm going to commit to getting through this in an hour. And then after that, I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to go eat something, or I'm going to go, I don't know, play a game, or I'm good, you know, whatever it is that you like to do.